You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
What up, world? This is FishnFrank here with Get Right Fantasy Network. Going through here tonight. It's Monday night overreaction time. I'm done. I'm out of the Guillotine League. It's over for me this last night game. This game tonight. Just terrible. Jalen Hurts didn't do nothing. Saquon Barkley didn't do nothing. Yeah, it's just all bad. I'm rather upset right now. We're just trying to hold on to that league. If you're not in the Guillotine League, I highly suggest you get into one. They're a lot of fun. Basically, what happens is that you're in a league where there's 14 or 18 weeks, so there's 18 other teams playing while you're in there. So as the teams go process a wins loss, the wins loss don't matter. You just can't be the last guy. The lowest man on total scoring. So if you are, then you get chopped, basically is what happens. So I got chopped today. It's upsetting, but I did get wins in other leagues and just trying to stay afloat, make the playoffs, kind of get ready for the playoffs on some of the leagues. I do have one more Guillotine League that I'm part of. But this is last year's Guillotine League, and I was really happy for it. I was really getting in there. Aaron Lowry coming in here saying hi. Hey, how's it going, Aaron? Welcome in. I think this is the first time I've seen you in here in the chat commenting. Tonight is the Monday night overreaction waiver wire show, so I'll get into what we got going on here tonight. Just kind of go over what the this week 10 that we had. Just a crappy Sunday night. It's the Monday night game here with the Eagles and Packers. They just barely finally started scoring towards the end of the game. It was all defense. I think both sides had 3 fumbles or interceptions by both sides of quarterbacks. Just not a lot of fantasy production, which I needed a big game, and it just didn't work out for me, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll go through there. I'll run down through the week's 10s, injury news, and things like that. Kind of react to some of the things that happened over the week. Some highlights that I wanted to mention. Then I'll get into the top waiver wire ads. So we go about 65% roster or less, and do live Q&A. I always do live Q&A all during the show here. So don't be afraid to put in your notes or put in your questions, comments, whatever you want to talk about. Let's get it going here. So first off here, I just want to kind of give you the show rundown here that we have that we kind of produce and put out the content for you guys here. Give me a second here because they changed our layout, so it's kind of hard for me to find everything. But Tuesday nights we have Phil here with the extra point. On Wednesdays we got the roster trade management buy sell trade show. But all the trades are kind of over now. Mostly follow the NFL rule of when the trades end. So we're just going to do more roster management things like that. Friday nights we have the sit start Q&A. Sunday, Mike holds it down doing the active inactives last minute. And again, I'm here Monday nights for your waiver wire ads and overreaction over the weekend. Hopefully you guys are doing well in your fantasy leagues. I unfortunately am not, as I mentioned. Just got out of that Guillotine League. It's just a sore loss, man. It's tough taking the L and being the guy that's getting chopped. I just finished spending a bunch of my fab, so at least I feel good about that. I didn't I didn't take home a bunch of money. I kind of did splurge last week to get some guys that basically just didn't do much for me. I picked up Bijan Robinson for 450 on the Fab. Only got me 10.8. What really killed me was Garrett Wilson. Starting Garrett Wilson got me a fat zero. I had started somebody like Deebo Samuel with 12.9. We wouldn't be talking about that right now. I think I would have been stayed in there. Saquon didn't do me too many favors tonight. Chris Olave did solid, 21 points. Jordan Addison did not do me that great either. So a lot of these guys that I picked up that were, high hopes just did not, pan out for me. How are you guys doing in your leagues? Let me know what's going on. We got Irene coming in saying hello. Are you new? I don't know. I'm the guy that's been doing this 4 years here or so. So been around a while. Welcome to the show here. Just kind of go in here. We do have super chats available. So if you're so inclined that you want to help, support the channel here, I would take more time to read your question and kind of, go, drop all the other questions and just, concentrate on what you guys have. But please always include your league size. The type of scoring you have is PPR, half PPR, standard scoring, and with your questions, because it helps me understand what your league is and what's going on. And that way I could give you a better, concise answer. So it's now time to roll our sleeves up and get to work and set your lineups here as we go into week 11 here. Coming in week 11, we have our buys of Indianapolis Colts and the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be on buys here coming up. Some top performances here of this week 10. Jonathan Taylor, he ran a career high 244 yards and 3 touchdowns, breaking the Colts franchise singles game scrimmage yards and most career rushing touchdowns. His performance included an 83-yard touchdown run for the game winner in overtime against the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin. So that was a nice thing for him. He was blowing people out. So if you're playing against Jonathan Taylor, good luck to you, because I think he put up like 50 points. It's ridiculous. Matthew Stafford continues to be on fire. Extended his MVP conversation case here, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns over the San Francisco 49ers. He now has gone 6 games without an interception and at least 4 touchdowns in each of the last 3 games, which I think is also an NFL record for that guy here. He's going to be getting his yellow jacket once he gets retired here. Jahmyr Gibbs here with the Lions, a second-year running back, 172 scrimmage yards with 3 total touchdowns. The Lions blowout win against the Washington Commanders. Let's see who else. We get DeMarcus Lawrence. Here is a defensive guy we want to mention here. He ended up scoring 2 defensive touchdowns on fumble recovers of Seattle's rout of Arizona, becoming only the fourth player in NFL history to do so in a single game. So he ended up getting 2 defensive touchdowns there. Russell Wilson's come in because of Jackson Dart got an injury. So he led the Giants for a win over Carolina Panthers. Brian Gable did lose his job, so he's out over there. We got to take a look at who we got. Some guys starting here. I think we got some notes on those guys. One of the guys sent me some. We were just in our chat talking about these guys open jobs in Tennessee and New York Giants. So yeah, and we got some jobs that may be expected to be open in Miami, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Arizona. And some guys on thin ice like the Jets, the Steelers, and the Raiders. So maybe some coaching changes, some things happening on that front. Also, David Mills, Texans, CJ Stroud sidelined with the concussion. And Davis Mills jumped in. He rallied the Texans back from a 19-point fourth quarter deficit to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Caleb Williams led the Chicago's Bears on 2 late scoring drives to complete a comeback win over the Giants. Tyler Show, the rookie quarterback, impressed with 282 yards and 2 touchdowns in the upset win of the Panthers, earning his first career win. So yeah, as I mentioned, we got to go over some of those items. Jonathan Taylor, he's in the MVP talk here. So as I mentioned to Matthew Stafford as well. So if the guy goes 244 yards and 2 touchdowns, he's typically the MVP favored. Usually they go for quarterbacks, but this guy's well into the conversation. What's going on with the Bills offense, man? I mean, they kind of just had a big old dud. I think they had after their basically Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, they just kind of just had a headache or a hangover over that after that game. I mean, they just could not get anything going over there against the Dolphins. Which the Dolphins just had a resurgence late here in the season. They're finally getting a couple game winning streak going, and that was a big win over the Bills for them. Basically right now you can trust the Patriots receiving core. Drake May's basically leading everybody over there. Mark Collins got a breakout, and he remains inconsistent. But a lot of the guys over there with the Patriots are somebody you want to take a look at here. The Commander season is over. After they had Jaden Daniel goes out here. I mean, they just got nothing going on over there. They're done for the year. And the Bengals no acquisition is huge impact here. Neither Khalil Herbert nor Deontay Johnson made a significant impact over the offense. Just to tell the future impact will be here. So those two guys are up for talks as far as what we got going on here for some of these guys. Travion Henderson. I mean, Jesus, that guy just had a breakout performance here this last game. His role is growing, so hopefully they'll feature him a little bit more. Yeah, and just again, the Rams offense just surging forward here with Matthew Stafford. Some of the reactions over here over the weekend here. How are you guys feeling about what's happening out there in the leagues? Any players that you guys want to point out that maybe we should be talking about? But I do want to go over here the injuries here. Time to get some injuries going. Unfortunately, they do happen, and things are going tough here. So we got Cooper Kupp, hamstring. He got injured in Sunday's game and considered questionable for Week 11. He did have a nice run towards the end of the game, but he did get injured. Ontavia Wicks, calf, questionable for Week 11. Brock Purdy's toe still sidelined, is not expected to play in Week 10. Matthew Golden, day-to-day, but likely will miss Week 11. J.K. Dobbins, the running back, placed on injured reserve and expect to miss multiple games. So it finally happened where J.K. Dobbins did go on injury. He's been known to be an injury prone. So we have R.J. Harvey stepping into that role over there for the Broncos. So if you have some R.J. Harvey, it's time to let him shine. Keyshawn Butte, hamstring, considered day-to-day. Mike Vrabel may miss Week 11. Austin Eckler, Achilles, suffered torn Achilles. He's out for the season. We mentioned that. That's already been going on here. Let's go. Some of the CJ Stroud got a concussion. So he's going to miss 1 to 2 games with the concussion protocol. Brian Thomas Jr. saw high ankle sprain, expected to miss 1 to 4 games there. Aranda Gatson suffered a bruised quadricep and considered a day-to-day as well. And Rashad Bateman ankle, another guy who's also injured. Yeah, so it's just a slew of injuries. Not so much of these injuries where you just pick up the second guy and just start plugging them in. Most of these guys are already owned. They're already on somebody's roster, so you got to get going up with that. What up, Warrior Loft? How you doing, bro? Good, welcome in. Good seeing you come on board here. Just kind of went over the injuries right now. It's late in the season now. So some of these players are, getting the wear and tear on them. So it's time to, make sure you buckle up and get your backups going, get your handcuffs going for your running backs, especially now that the bye weeks are gone and you maybe not need that second running back, and you want to make sure you lock up your position. Some of these guys that we're going to mention, like Tyler Algier, who's running behind Bijan, but he's put up 2 touchdowns this week. So I'll get to him soon enough. But really quick, I just want to pay some bills for us here. I want to mention Underdog Fantasy. We got a promo code Get Right. This is our promo code. You play 5, you get $100 with Underdog Fantasy. They got a bunch of different promos going on. Multiple promos available in the app. So let's go check out Underdog Fantasy. We usually use them for best ball drafts prior to the season starting. We do a best ball draft tournament, and the leagues, you just kind of draft a team set it and forget it. No long-term commitment, no waiver wire, no trades, no weekly lineup setting. But right now in the season, I enjoy the pick'em contest where you simply pick higher or lower on player stats like total yards and total touchdowns. So go sign up with our promo code GetRight, and you receive the 5 to fit 100. That's the promo that got currently going on right now. So check out underdogfantasy.com. Go check out the app. They're a good place to, go play some fantasy football. Again, you play 5, you get 100, and the bonus entries, promo code Get Right. Yeah, let me go in here. Let's start taking a look at here who we have. And the waiver wire ads here, immediate pickups here. I want to start off with the quarterbacks here. This last week, he was on a bye. Joe Flacco. Week 10 just on the bye, but he's been throwing up some really good numbers over there with Cincinnati. He's 32.7 points in week 9, 24.32 points in week 8, and 25.98 points in week 7. So the rest of the season, he's averaging at least 10 PPR points per game projection. The guy's been throwing about 290 plus yards, and he's got some good matchups coming up. So check him out. I really like Joe Flacco. I have him on the bench on a couple teams. I might actually start starting him over some of these guys like Jordan Love. I mean, these guys putting better numbers up anyways. Aaron Rodgers, another quarterback you want to take a look at. Pittsburgh, 39% owned. Completed 16 to 31 passes, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions on this night. That was tough going out, but he's, with a couple guys on the bye week, maybe somebody you want to look at. Tua Tagovailoa here, quarterback from Miami, 21% owned. They completed 15 to 21 passes, 173 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions with that Dolphins win over the Bills, their 30-13 win. So again, they've been coming up. So I know that it's a tough sledding, tough sledding over there in Miami, but the last 3 games have been kind of righting the ship. They're getting some things done. Jaden Daniels out. We got Marcus Mariota in over there at the Washington Commanders. Scored 18.72 fantasy points this week. And he's got 16 to 22 passes, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, while rushing 5 times for 22 yards. 44-22 week loss against the Lions. So that was a touch matchup for them. But he did put up some decent numbers. And if you're, hurting that quarterback, might be somebody you want to take a look at. The last guy I got here is Jacoby Brissett, Arizona quarterback. He did get the start over Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's going to be out 1 to 4 weeks, so about 2 to 3 weeks now. 13% owned here. Jacoby Brissett, 22 of 44 in passing, 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, 44-22 loss against the Seahawks there, which is kind of funny because those are 2 scores that had the same exact scores on 2 different teams, 44-22. Interesting fact there. So, yeah, check these guys out. These are the wide receiver quarterbacks for the week. Gets a short out here later on today. Let me know if you guys got any comments, questions here in the chat. I got to see you guys in here. Let me know if you guys got any guys you want to talk about who you see performances this week. Now we're coming up into the running backs here that we're looking at. I'm looking at Tyler Algier. Again, I just mentioned him a little bit ago, running back right behind backup for Bijan Robinson, but he's getting plenty of work. 33% rostered. Scored 2 touchdowns, both from on the 1-yard line, 57 yards on 11 carries. And he's been putting up some consistent numbers there as a backup there to Bijan. The offense is really firing on all cylinders there over there for the Atlanta Falcons, giving some valuable touches, so he's got some upside. And they have a favorable schedule up ahead, going with the Panthers, the Saints, and the Jets coming up against the Atlanta Falcons there. So really a nice piece to add. If you're hurting on running back, you need somebody. Here's the guy you could have. Another guy we got here is Blake Corum, 26% owned here. The Los Angeles Rams saw an increase here in Week 10 due to the temporary injury to Kyron Williams during the game. He combined for 139 yards and 2 scores. Excellent left side handcuff and often injured starter here. So Kyron Williams does get injured here quite a bit. So he's worth stashing and at least keeping the role in case Williams misses some time. So another guy, like as I mentioned, as we go into the later weeks of the year here, it's time to start slapping some handcuffs on some of these guys. So in case your top guy goes down, you already got a backup ready, not to skip a beat. So you're not hunting the waiver wire, waiting to fight for these guys that are coming up. Another guy, we got Eddie DeMarcado, 37% owned, played 32 snaps in week 10, and remains the more valuable back in the fantasy of the Cardinals backfield, especially with his involvement in the passing game, with fellow running back dealing with injuries and a potential flex option in week 11 against the 49ers. So you want to take a look at there. Eddie DeMarcado, 37% owned as a flex option there. Another guy we got here is Tajay Spears, Tennessee, 37% owned. Coming off a bye week, Spears is a valuable, strong flex, reliable bye week filler due to the significant role with the Titans offense. So another guy you want to take a look at there over there with Tony Pollard as well. And then we also got Kenneth Gainwell, 33% owned. Pittsburgh, consistent role with the 8 touches and per game, offers a massive upside. Started Jalen Warner, were to miss any time with more favorable schedule in running backs weeks 11 through 15. He's a solid bench stash. So take a look at Kenneth Gainwell, another guy here. It's again, we're handcuffing some of these guys. There's not too many guys out there that you can just go pick up. It's getting late in the year that you just run out and just grab a starting running back or whatnot. Nobody's gone down per se. I mean, we had talks about Devin Singletary, Zonovan Knight, and Taj Brooks here in the last couple of weeks. But Tyler Ageo, Kenneth Gainwell, Blake Corum, Tajay Spears, Eddie DeMarcado are basically the top guys for this week that we want to talk about in the running back room. So check those guys out. Now, so I also want to talk about here, moving forward here, wide receivers. We got Alec Pierce, 42% owned. Had a big day here in week 10, 4 catches, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Building on strong tendons, target shares 90%, air yards 45% in recent weeks. And he's the primary deep threat, hyper-efficient offense, and the viable wide receiver 3 or flex option here moving forward with the Colts. They are on a bye week here in week 11, but he's well worth holding through the bye here for Alex Pierce. Again, only 42% owned. Another guy that's been on the waiver wire basically almost all season, seems like Troy Franklin, 58% owned, led the Broncos in routes, targets, 9, receptions 5, and air yards in the week 10. So he's definitely a target hog over there for Denver, catching his touchdown and operated the de facto number 1 right receiver over the last 3 weeks. He needs to be rostered virtually in all leagues given his current usage, because he's getting all the touches and looks over there in Denver. Troy Franklin, 58% owned. Take a look at him. Another guy who's second week in a row here on the show, Parker Washington, 41% owned. Jacksonville, high target volume, undeniable following routes. And other Jaguar receivers, Brian Thomas Jr. with the high ankle sprain, Travis Hunter with IR. He's a priority ad. He can see a significant role in the coming weeks. He's already moved up into that spot. Definitely want to take a look at him. Another guy that we have coming in here as well is Tez Johnson. He was a waiver wire pickup about 2 weeks ago here. Mike Evans went down. He hasn't really produced that much yet, but Chris Godwin still has his injury, and it's basically Tez Johnson and Cade Otton over there for the Buccaneers. So he's another guy that you should be taking a look at him. Coming off the bye week here. You should continue to see targets, especially with everybody still injured. And lastly, we got Matt Collins, New England, only 1% owned. He led the Patriots in 10 targets, catches 6, and receiving yards 106 in week 10. With Kayshon Boutte injured, Hollins is a favorite to lead the team in routes. Coming up in week 11, he's at least a deep league consideration here from Matt Collins. So those are the top guys here on wide receiver positions: Alec Pierce, Troy Franklin, Parker Washington, Tez Johnson, and Matt Collins coming in at the end here. Again, another guy that we got coming in, we're going to go over to the tight ends as far as this week is concerned. We're looking at Dalton Schultz, 34% owned. He's been a reliable target over there for the offense, Texans offense. And, with the tight end scarcity here, he should be a good solid streaming option for week 11. Theo Johnson, they're New York Giants, 42% owned. He's been quite a consistent role, ranking highly around tight ends and route participation and targets over the recent weeks. He turned Week 10 in usage into solidarity in the 7 catches for 75 yards. And he's could be a viable fantasy starter, at least in the flex option, and/or as I mentioned, as a bye week replacement. And lastly, we got Kate Otten, as I aforementioned guy here, with Tez Johnson here, having uh, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin still being out with injuries. Kate Otten is the beneficiary. He's getting the decent target share and receiving yards per game, so he's making him a good streaming option here, being over there with the Buccaneers. So yeah, that's basically the top waiver wire ads of the week. I don't want to go too far into too many guys. I forgot to mention actually Colston Loveland, tight end for the Bears. Again, 9.5 points here in Week 10. Looking at 9.4 projected rest of the season points per game. The rookie has been coming up. He had a huge touchdown last week, putting up some decent numbers this week. So, take a look at Colston Loveland, another guy you want to maybe pick up here. So we got some number of people here. Anybody got any questions, want to talk here? Kind of ran through everybody here, kind of went over the injuries. Just want to see if you guys want to chat and kind of go over some people here. As I mentioned, some of these guys, I don't want to mention too many guys here that I've mentioned in the past that are just not doing too well. We got guys like Bam Knight, Devin Singletary. It's just tough over there for the Giants. So there's really not so much to be had. He was on here last week. He's still only 37% owned there. Another guy, Devin Neal for New Orleans Saints, only 1.7% owned. But that guy, Devin Neal, only ran 4 times for 22 catches and caught 3 passes for 9 yards. Tough sledding over there, but do seem to be going back to Alvin Kamara. Although his usage is just also down. It's just sifting on the offense over there. I'm not really sure what's going on over there for the Saints here. Lastly, we want to mention maybe Dylan Sampson here with the Cleveland Browns, 9.8% owned. This is some deeper league stash guys, leagues 12 and 14 team leagues. You got to stash some of these guys. He's played over 50% of the Browns' third down snaps and logging under 30% of every previous game of the season. So he's inching in some work here with Quentin Johnson, and he's getting the early down work there. So let's see if we got anybody else. Let me scroll through my notes here. We already went Alex Spears, Darius Slayton. That's a decent guy, decent pickup here with New York Giants, 33.7% owned. He did suffer a hamstring in the second quarter of the Giants' Week 10 loss, so he was limited in the second half. But he's throwing some decent numbers. He was rotating in with Wan'Dale Robinson and Ray McLeod. So keep an eye on his injury status. He might be a cheap pickup for you as well. Let's see, Luther Burden Hurt, Cedric Tillman. It's not so much about that guy. I'm skipping over some of these guys. They're too deep leagues. They're just not relevant enough to be bringing up for you guys. Again, I mentioned Colston Loveland, Dalton Schultz here. And that's it. Prayer Freiermuth, I think the last tight end, again, deep league stuff, 12, 14 team league. He's been getting involved a lot in the passing situation there, but it's been pretty quiet the last couple of weeks here. So yeah, any comments? Anybody got any chat they wanted to bring up? It's pretty quiet tonight. I know it's getting late in the season. I think everybody's kind of tired. Either you're winning. I want to know if you guys are winning. I just went down this week. Man, it was tough. This week with the guillotine, it was just a tough goal outing. I think I'm going to be 8-3 or 8-2 in one of the leagues here. So I should be clinching some playoff spots here pretty soon. The other leagues, it's just not going so well, just not panning out. So sometimes it's a hit and miss thing here with some of these guys. Anybody got some questions or some chat they want to talk about here? I'll give you a couple more seconds here. If not, I do appreciate you guys being here. We do get sponsored also by Trophy Smack. They're the best place to go get your rings. We gave our 1,000 subscriber giveaway ring with the Get Right Fantasy 1,000 subscriber ring. But they got rings you can personalize over there. They got some swag. They got your belts here and your trophies. It's a good time to start getting those in, get those orders in so that you guys could get some of those from trophysmack.com. Always use the promo code GetRight with them as well. But are always sponsored here by, Underdog Fantasy. Again, you use a promo code GetRight. You play 5, you get $100 in bonus entries. So it's a good time to join them. So yeah, did some filler there. Any other questions? Any comments here, guys? Just kind of give you guys the last second here before I end up closing the show. Kind of go over in some of the guys here. It's not the best week for waiver wire ads as far as I'm concerned. Not too many guys that I'm going after too terribly, but other than the wide receivers here with Alec Pierce, Detroit Franklin, and Parker Washington, I think those are some very good ads. Mostly handcuffs there in the running back room with Tyler Algier, Blake Corum, Ty J. Spears, guys like that. Tight ends again, Dalton Shaw, Steele Johnson, K. Dotton, Colston there as well. Those are some of the options there. But I think you should really definitely go for quarterbacks in Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa. If you're still desperate, you could go for Marcus Mariota and Jacoby Brissett. So those are the last options there. But on that note, I appreciate you guys joining me here tonight. Please do like and subscribe. Hit us back up on Wednesday. I'll probably be back with another show. We got our shows on Friday nights, Sunday mornings here at Get Right Fantasy. So peace out.